More tint on this instrument, so I have to probably change this color. Come on in, come on in. I'm about to mix the color because I don't think I don't like this color. Happy Wisdom Wednesday. So come on in, come on in. Hey, love. So today we're talking about how you're not actually stuck. A lot of people kind of think that they're stuck. You actually have a structural addiction to being chosen. And so we're going to address your structure. A lot of the patterns and things that we keep repeating come from us not understanding that the issue is not emotional. It's not just something that's going around mindset. It is actually your structure. It is actually the way that you are set up to function at this point. And the thing about structure that's very important that a lot of people have to pay attention to is that structure can be reorganized, okay? A new structure can be laid. So for those who do not know who I am, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients by guiding high-capacity women to stabilize their internal hierarchy, okay? So that their money, their health, and their relationships do not fragment under pressure. Because when you stabilize your internal hierarchy, what ends up happening specifically is that money tends to regulate or increase, your health tends to regulate, and your relationships automatically begin to reorganize on their own. When you step in the truth of who you are, this is why you start to lose people. You start to feel like the people that you were around, your friends, all these different type of things, like everything around you continues to shift, is because you've entered into a new vibrational state. And the only way that those people can join you is if they make a decision to quantum jump into that reality with you. But people have their own choices and they have their own decisions to make. I'm not a person who believes in dragging people up with you, because I want you to really think about it like a building. If you had a building and you could reach your hand all the way down, hey lady of the house, and you could reach your arm all the way down to the other floors. Let's say you're in the vibrational state of love, right? And you see people who are, there are people who are in the vibrational state of fear. So you take your arm, turn into Inspector Gadget. I'm telling my age. You turn into Inspector Gadget. Hi, lovey. And you stick your arm all the way down and you grab the hand of somebody who is on the floor of fear. When you begin to start pulling pull that person up, they're destroying every floor that they come in contact with before they reach you. And they're eventually going to destroy the floor that you are on as well. When you try to force people, hi lovey, when you try to force people into coming in to a new vibrational state that they are not prepared for, they are going to sabotage the experience. You cannot afford to have done all the work that you've done to allow someone to come in and destroy what you have been able to do. Okay? She said, wait, I hate when time my girl tied down. Hi, lovey. But we need to understand that. Stop trying to reach back for people, because you're destroying everything that you're built by trying to force people to come up. They got to make that jump into the vibrational state of courage so they get in that room. Once they get in that room, it gets a little bit easier to jump into the frequencies of peace, love, and joy and those things. But you cannot have an expectation for them to do that when you're trying to pull them up. And then not even to mention the damage that you're doing to your own arm by trying to pull them up when they're not ready to come up. So when you stabilize, thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. When you stabilize your internal hierarchy, this is why your relationships reorganize on their own, because people realize that they are not willing to do the work to come up to the frequency of peace. So you cannot expect peace to come off of their lips. I was having lunch yesterday, brunch yesterday, and breakfast with lady of the house who I adore, and we were talking specifically about that. Like, you can't position somebody in a space that they're not ready to see themselves in. Point blank, period. And trying to do that is going to hurt you. And it's going to hurt what it is that you're trying to build. So what we're talking about today is you are not stuck. A lot of you are addicted to being chosen structurally. This is in your structure. Okay? So the whole thing that we talk about, y'all love to talk about pick me and all that, but y'all love to talk about it in regard to relationships. But how you do one thing is how you do all things, beloved. Okay? And the reason why, and when women say pick me, I don't even take a lot of you seriously, because a lot of you are exactly what it is that you claim that other women are. But a pick me is nothing but a woman who chooses everyone but herself. So just because you're looking at old girl and she appears to be male or man-centered and all of these things, sweetheart, you are still a pick-me because you choose other people other than yourself. You choose to take care of everyone else instead of taking care of yourself, and you hope that people are going to turn around and see you one day, turn around and choose you, turn around and pour into you like they have, you have been pouring into them. That is utterly ridiculous. So watch your mouth. A lot of you really need to watch your mouth. I chuckle when I hear other women calling women pick-me's, because my first question always is, when you bringing that to me, what is a pick-me to you? And it's normally a lot of times always about a man. Y'all love to make everything about men, but then say it's really not a man, like it's not about men. But you make everything about men, and most women only compete when it comes down to a man. And these are the things that we really need to talk about. A lot of us are structurally addicted to being chosen. And I'm going to give you some examples today, okay? So I have a goal today to get this live to 25,000. So what I ask of you is that if you receive value, and only if you receive value, because I don't believe in pouring in spaces where you're not going to receive, because that's law. According to the law of sowing and reaping, whatever a man sows, ye shall reap, right? Whatever a woman sows, she shall reap. So if you sow value consistently, then value is going to be returned to you. I don't do things like borrow money, right? People don't borrow money from me. I give you the money because I understand that the money is going to come back to me. If I can't give you the money, then I'm not going to give you the money. But I don't have an expectation for you to bring me back that money. Why? Because let me tell you something about expectations and why a lot of you get disappointed. Expectations are a form of external validation. Expectations are a form of outward validation. You don't give things that you can't afford to lose. This is why it tells you in scripture to be a cheerful giver, because when you are giving cheerfully, you understand, number one, it's better to give than to receive. Why? Because whatever a man sows, ye shall reap. So you will always reap. This is why I always say I'm always met with fruit. I am always met with fruit. No matter where I go, no matter where I travel in the world, no matter where I travel in this country, I am always met with fruit. I am always met with someone who wants to pour into me in some form or fashion. And honestly, that is the only expectation that I have, because I expect spiritual law to always be active. So I'm consistently sowing value, so I'm going to consistently reap value. When and where that value is going to come, I don't know, but I just expect it. That is what you should expect. Y'all be expecting human beings to do stuff when y'all really need to be expecting law to be law. Learn how to use law to create the reality that you desire instead of settling for the one that is beneath your value and your worth. That is how you become a pick-me. So the next time you open your mouth to speak on a woman and calling her a pick-me behind a man, you better show me, you better be able to say you stick to your boundaries with your mama. You better say you able to stick to your boundaries as your sister and with your family. You better know and tell me that you can stick to your boundaries and you know your value so much to where you negotiate any type of contract or salary where people want to give you money. You better be on that type of time before you open your mouth calling somebody else a pick me. Because if you, any time that you've ever chosen anything or anyone over yourself, you have been a pick me. So guess what? We all have. So watch your mouth. A lot of you don't have the room to be speaking, but you want to continue to speak. A lot of us are still in a space where we're structurally addicted to being chosen. So let's go ahead and get into it because I don't plan on being on here too long. That's the topic. For those who don't know who I am, again, my name is Elle Antoinette. I'm a psychological identity strategist, and what I do specifically is I support my amazing clients who are high-capacity women. I support them in stabilizing internal hierarchy. See, when you stabilize internal hierarchy, you don't need external validation. The only thing that you expect is your creator to deliver for you because you understand that anything can happen. Anything can stop a human being from showing up for you. This person says they're going to be there for you. They're going to be there at 3 o'clock. Well, they get in a car accident. Guess they're not going to be there at 3 o'clock. This is why I say expectations are external validation. It is outward validation. When someone is always looking for someone to validate them, it is revealing how much of a pick-me that you are. Because you don't even choose yourself. You're waiting on people to pick you, to show up for you. Which is why you don't make plans for yourself. But let's just get into it. You're not stuck. You're structurally addicted to being chosen. Like I said, if you're receiving value, thank you for the likes. Please make sure that you like the live, you share the live. I have a goal of getting to 25,000 today. Sow value, receive value. Okay? Receiving value, continue to sow value. That's how this works. If you feel led to give a gift, I appreciate it very much. So it's not a requirement for me. I want people to give and sow intentionally, because don't sow with the intention of, oh, XYZ. Sow because you're led to sow. I live by that. I don't force people to come work with me. I don't use fear of missing out tactics for people to come and work with me. You need to come and work with me if it's in alignment with you to come and work with me. If it's not, then it's not. And I'm okay with that. Because the Most High is going to always make sure that I'm where I need to be, because I always sow value, so I'm always going to be met with fruit. That is my mindset. I'm very detached from the outcomes. I'm very detached from the outcome of money. I am money. When you understand that you are money, you are the real value. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Then you stop chasing it. And you start creating it by being. We have entered into an era now to where this era is about who you are. It's not about what you do anymore. People don't care about what you do. You can do anything to get on here and sell your soul, compromise your ethics to get some form of a check. People do it every day. And while I'm on that topic, hold tight. Don't y'all dare get on this app talking about witchcraft. If you are a content creator and you are out here saying, scamming people by saying their products work when you do not know if they work or not. That's why you don't see me getting on TikTok shop selling you a whole bunch of stuff. If I don't use it for real, I'm not going to tell you it's okay to get a check. I don't need no kind of money that bad where I got to sell an evil intention. So don't y'all dare get on here opening your mouth on these celebrities about how they're selling their souls. You're doing the same thing when you get on here lying to people just so you can try to get a check. And that's why your money not being consistent. Because literally it tells you in spiritual law, it tells you in scripture, you cannot manifest or sustain something with evil intention. So trust me when I tell you, sow value for your own life, not to pour into my bank. I'm responsible for what comes into my value bank based on me being a cheerful giver, based on me sowing value that actually impacts and that changes lives. That's what's going to always sustain me, that level of obedience. But don't get on here with that if you know you be out here lying and saying stuff work. I'm not getting on here and doing that. I'm not getting on here and doing that, okay? So let's go ahead and get straight into it. You're not stuck. You're just structurally being chosen. I feel like something is in my eye, y'all. I'm sorry. I might have to... Hold on 1 second, because I ain't going to be able to function. Yep, and it is. Sorry. While I'm doing that, y'all do me a favor and put a 1 in the comments to make sure that you can hear me clearly, and also let me know where you are watching from. Okay, there we go. Put a 1 in the comments to let me know if you can hear me clearly, and also let me know where you're watching from. Hey, Washington. I need to make my way out there. Seriously. Hey, Florida. Been saying I've been wanting to go to Seattle. Hey, Philly. You know what? I might be in Philly sooner than later. Hey, LA. Hey, Jersey. Denmark. I love that. I love that. Come on in. Hey, Ohio. Hey, Dallas. I'm going to be in Dallas in a minute, too. Definitely. Maybe in like a couple of weeks. And I will reach out to you, Valerie. So, yes. Hey, Florida. All right. So, let's go ahead and get into how you're not stuck. You are structurally addicted to being chosen. So let's get straight into this. So, for example, let's just say you've been sitting on a decision, and most women have been sitting on most women, and my best friend said this, we were having a conversation maybe like some weeks ago, right? The women who can hear right now, whose ears are open and whose eyes are open, they are making serious decisions right now. They have hit a point in their life that's very pinnacle, where they have to start making decisions that are uncomfortable, but it's for the betterment or the bitterness of their life to come. Did you hear what I just said? Right now, women are in a space, the women who can hear and the women who can see clearly. Okay? You have been sitting on a decision. It is a decision that is uncomfortable for you, but it is a decision that is necessary for the betterment of your life to come or the bitterness of your life to come. Because as women, we get bitter or we get better, beloved. Okay? She said, that's where I am. That's what I'm doing right now. I feel this for sure. I'm telling you, the ones who got ears, you're being told right now decisions you can no longer hold off. Okay? You've been sitting on this decision, not for a day, not for even a moment, but some of you have been sitting on this decision for weeks, for months, and even going into over a year. Okay? You've had this conversation in your head so many times. You already know how this ends exactly. You have replayed it. You have justified it. You have explained it. But still, you are sitting around and you are waiting. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. Okay? She said, I've been sitting in bitter. Now I'm ready to walk in the better. I know that's right. Welcome. You're in the right place for that. Okay? Because I've been on both ends. So, a lot of you who, like I said, who just continue to replay these conversations of how you know it's going to end and, justifying and explaining it, and you're still waiting. You don't have a confidence problem. Your problem is not confidence that you're able, or even you lack the boldness to be able to make the decision. The issue is you have a selection addiction problem. Okay? And what I mean by that is, let's go ahead and name this pattern because it's a pattern, okay? You feel and you believe that you're decisive. You think you're decisive. You think that you're self-aware. You think that you're working on yourself. But when you look at your life seriously, you do things like wait for a person to text you. You wait for clarity. You wait for the right time. You wait to feel ready. These are things that you do. And then you turn around and call it patience, like it's actually the spiritual fruit of patience. Can I tell you what patience really is? Can I enlighten you for a second on what patience really is? Patience is not the actual act of you waiting. Patience is how you behave while you are waiting. So if your behavior is lazy, as in you take no action, as if you have the actual belief that this is going to happen, that is not you being patient, beloved. That is you waiting to be selected. That is you waiting on someone to pick you. Okay? This is you waiting for the perfect time. You're waiting on something that's not even real. And you're wrapping it in the name of patience. It's not patience, though. Do you know what it really is, if I can be super honest? It's dependency dressed up as self-control. Or I'm not going to do this right now because it's not the right time because all of this is going on. That is dependency dressed up as self-control. So you appear to be a person who takes their time before they just, make a decision and take certain risk and all of that, when the reality is you waiting on somebody to give you permission. You're waiting on somebody to give you permission by picking you. See, you really let the spell of corporate America trick you into believing because they have to qualify you before and then you have to wait on them to call you. You've allowed that to become your program in your true experience, though it tells you in scripture that the Most High calls you, then qualifies you. You know why that's so interesting and so important to understand is because the reason why you get called before you get qualified, because people be so thrown off at the fact that the Most High called you. You mean to tell me the creator of all things chose you? You was this in school. You was this. You was that. You was this. You was that. You mean to tell me you're the one who got chosen? But see, I kind of feel like the Most High be liking a wow factor and the surprise factor. And like, I really be feeling like the Most High really loves producing amazing, what society claims to be underdogs. I really believe that the Most High loves putting you in a space to where your table is set, where your enemies, the very enemies who doubted you, are able to see you. Because it's nothing but the creator of all things that could position you and expose that level of genius, amazingness, and all these things that are actually within you that human beings could never see until you became elevated. Don't play with it. See, society tricks you into believing they need to pick you. Society made you a pick-me. Society told you that you are to choose everything and everyone over yourself, all while playing the self-preservation game in your face. All while siphoning your energy, all while taxing on your soul to meet their goals. Because see, they on a time schedule. Because they understand that the oppression of people using dark magic, eventually you're going to have to pay for that. And so they're doing everything they can to extend their life force by stealing yours because you don't know your value. So you will work yourself into the ground for their agenda. You will believe that money is the root of all evil instead of understanding that money in this society is nothing but it's cotton. It's 75% cotton, 25% linen. That money you hiding in your house when the dollar crashes is nothing but 75% cotton, 25% linen. The real value is in you. And if you did not understand that, I want you to think about a corporation. Thank you for these likes and these follows. Y'all, I really appreciate them. But I want you to think about a corporation that's booming, right? Let's think about, I don't know, Starbucks, right? Starbucks don't pay me. So think about Starbucks for a second and think about all the Starbucks that are in the entire world and just think about if everyone decided who worked at Starbucks, from the baristas to the CEO, and the CEO was the only person who came to work. Everyone else decided that they were not going to come to work. Do you know how much money that company would lose? All praises to the Most High, I very much so am. Do you know how much money Starbucks would lose? Do you know how they would get on the phone with every single store trying to figure out what they can do to get their value back? Because you have always been the value. You have always been the value. Yes, they're on YouTube, beloved. You have always been the value, and they know that. They tricked you out of believing you had no value so you would sell your soul for cheap. That's what these systems are. And they did this so that, like I said, they can extend their lifeline because they scared to face the creator. Do you really think that you can use glamour magic and psychological spell work to oppress people? See, this is why we're not supposed to know a lot of stuff that we know. And even the stuff that we know, we don't know half of it because they got a lot of it locked up in a space that in a little spot that starts with a V. But I ain't even get into all that. So the thing is, I need you to understand this whole waiting thing, or I'm being patient, I'm waiting on God. The spiritual fruit of patience is how you act while you're waiting. You understand? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. If I'm saying that I'm waiting on my first client in my business, I'm waiting on my first high-paying client in my business, guess what I'm doing? My systems is set up for me to get paid by this client. My automation emails are set up so when the client pays, their process to onboarding is seamless. My site is up so they can click on it so it's easy for them to pay me. See, this is me being patient for my first client. You sitting at home and saying that the Most High is going to bring somebody to your business and you don't have the system set up is crazy work. You're not doing anything. You're waiting to be picked. You want to talk about it, but you don't want to set up things so you actually have the structure so that you can receive what it is that you're looking for. See, a lot of y'all out here asking the Most High for rain when you have no bucket, you have no bowl, you have no nothing. You have no structure to hold what it is that you are asking for. And that is insane. You cannot sustain rain in your hands. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You cannot sustain rain in your hands if you want rainwater. It is going to fumble through your hands. And a lot of you do not have a solid foundation to be able to receive the things that you are asking for. How dare you ask for a healthy marriage with low self-esteem? Do you really think that you're going to be able to steward a healthy relationship when you have low self-esteem? Baby, you don't have a you don't have a basket to carry that type of bread. You don't have the basket ready to, you don't have the lamp for the level of oil that's going to come out of that scenario. Y'all need to stop asking for things that you are not prepared for. And stop saying that you're waiting on it, because a lot of y'all, like I said, are operating from a space of dependency disguised as self-control. Because a woman who is really actually decisive, she moves. She moves. People ask me all the time, how is it that you are able to be so confident in how you move in regard to the things that you teach, the way that you live, the results that you've been able to get for your clients? Because the Most High got my back, and I believe that. And belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. So if I am not causing anyone any harm, if what I am doing is in alignment with my life, if what I am asking for does not violate anyone or violate any laws spiritually, if what I am asking for is going to give me joy, then why would I not get in position to receive that if I'm not violating? Why would the Most High not give me the desires of my heart unless the Most High is a liar? So what I'm trying to figure out is, why would I be afraid of something? Why would I be concerned about something? Because society said something? Society has been proven over and over through news, media, and all these things to continuously be a liar. Why would I believe them over the creator of all things? It literally makes absolutely no sense. And the people who believe society over the creator of all things, that's a person that's submitted to the system because they're not spiritually grounded in the truth of who they are. So when you're not spiritually grounded in the truth of who you are, you pick an identity to assimilate in this society, because they make you feel like a sucker, or they make you feel like you weak, or they make you feel like you weird if you don't fit in, if you're not doing what you want them to do. But then they turn around and they praise people who are so individualistic in their being themselves, because the truth is they love and hate the fact that you can be you. And when you realize that most people are afraid to be themselves, and so they're going to hate and love the fact that you're being you, you stop being concerned about what other people think, and you start living a life you know you was designed to live. Because people are always going to have something to say anyway. Hey, Joseph, they're going to have something to say anyway. And I was explaining this to somebody last night. You never not care about what other people think. Let me tell you, it's not that you stop caring about what other people think. It's that what other people think becomes so low on the totem pole of priority that you can't even think about what somebody else thinking. That's how much that's how much you going after the life you want. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. That's how much you going in for the life that you want. That's how much you not finna wait. Because women who actually know and are ready, these women are going to move. I move like the Most High got my back. I don't move in fear. There's no point. There's no point. Okay? So again, if you are finding yourself in a space where you think you're decisive, it is sovereign. Very much so. That's what I teach. Emotional and energetic sovereignty in a world addicted to dependency, addicted to performance, and addicted to faux femininity. The way to win in this game of life, chess, is to be yourself and to play your position. So if you a queen, act like it. If that's really your position, you a queen, then you know you can move anywhere on the chessboard. If you know you a queen, you know you're protected. See, you just know. You just know. And you move like that. You move like that. So if you think a lot of you think you're decisive, think that you are so self-aware, think that you're working on yourself. But when you look at your life, you still waiting on a text, you still waiting on clarity, you waiting on the right time, you waiting to feel ready. And you calling it patience when in reality, like I said, is dependency dressed up as self-control. You are faking the fruit. And you playing a dangerous game here. See, now let me talk to you for real. Okay? Everything I teach is rooted in scripture and backed up by science. I'm a nerd like that, right? So you playing a dangerous game when you try to mimic the fruit of the Spirit. You run the risk of being exposed. This is how people who are claim to be nice, it's often found out that they're very nasty, because nice is an imitation form of so-called kindness. See, kindness is a heart posture. I am naturally a kind woman. Naturally, if you've ever met me in life, anyone will tell you I am naturally a kind woman. That is a heart posture of mine. I also am a very firm woman. I'm also a woman who does not play. I'm also a woman who stands on business, but I am still a kind woman. An example of a woman or someone trying to be nice. Someone saying hello. Let's go, you walking down the street. I'm Southern, right? So let's just say you go and you speak to someone and you're in the North and they don't speak back to you. That's rude. I was just trying to be nice. There we go. There we go. You weren't really trying to be nice, and being nice is a state. You did not like that the fact that this person chose to use their free will in a way that did not suit you, that did not validate you, and therefore you revealed the truth of your personality because you speaking is ritualistic, but is not really intentional. And because it's ritualistic for you to speak to other people like that, hello, greetings, you were not accepting at the fact that this person used their free will to not speak to you. That's their choice. See, this is why I say women love free will until that free will denies them something that they believe that they're entitled to. And I had to learn this. Just because you are from the South and you go to the North, that is, their culture is not people going around and speaking all the time. If that's not their culture, that does not make them rude. They're exercising their free will based on their knowledge, based on their experience, and people don't have to speak to you. People don't have to speak to you. People don't have to respond to you in the way that you believe that they should be responding to you. That is entitlement. That is entitlement. People have the right to exercise their free will the way they want. But you know who understands that? Let me tell you something. And I always say this. Women who struggle to say no, women who struggle to hear no are the same women who don't say no enough. That's why it hurts you so bad when somebody tells you no. You don't say no enough. You're a doormat. You're everything for everybody. So when somebody tells you no, you don't know how to receive a no. Because you don't say no enough. That's how I know y'all be lying on this app when y'all be talking about men. That's how I know y'all be lying on this app about men and how you interact with men. If you can't tell your mama no, don't talk to me about how you have boundaries with the men you deal with. Because a lot of you can't even stand up to your first bully. Because a lot of you grew up in homes where your mama was slick your first bully. So you can't even set boundaries with her. And you're going to tell me that you're going to set boundaries and protect, your marriage? See what I be saying? Asking for rain with your hands out is crazy because it's going to slip through your fingers. Much like the experiences that you continue to go through because you don't have a solid foundation. Again, it is an insult and a slap in the face. It is a slap in the face for you to say, as a person with low self-esteem, that you want a healthy marriage. You don't know how to steward that. It is ridiculous for you to say you want a 6- and 7-figure business when you scared of money. You scared of somebody really calling you and telling you that you got some money away. Y'all, I feel like something's in my nose. I'm so sorry. I hate to dig on my nose. I feel like it's makeup. But you're afraid of money. If somebody called you right now and said, I have $1 million for you, you're going to doubt that. You know why you doubt that? You know why you doubt that? Because you don't believe somebody will call you and pay you that type of money without you thinking it's a scam. And nobody can pay you that type of money without you getting nervous and getting anxious and having anxiety within your nervous system because you're scared that you're going to mess this up. You're scared of failing. You're scared of how people are going to view you. Everything is rooted in fear. And that's the real reason why you're waiting. That's the real reason why you're waiting. You are not a patient woman. You are practicing dependency dressed up as self-control. Period. Because women who actually are decisive, we move. This is why I don't listen to women when they want to complain about their men. You are totally cool with what you are accepting when you are complaining about something. Women who are serious about their boundaries and their standards, they don't complain. They state the standard, they state the requirement. Either you gonna do it or you ain't. And they gonna get out your way if you ain't finna do it. They gonna get out your way if you ain't finna do it. Let me tell you, I don't argue with anyone because I've explained to y'all how there's witchcraft, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I don't argue if I'm talking about men and their standards. I don't argue that. I don't argue that. Because either you meet my standards or you don't meet my standards. I'm not going to ask you or argue, oh, I don't do this for women. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't do this. I don't do that. Yada, 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 yada. Listen, if this is not what you're going to do, I'm just not going to deal with you. And that's okay. You have to be okay with walking away. You have to walk away. But you can only walk away when you understand your value. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Okay? So let's talk about the origin. Let's talk about how you became, the type of woman who was waiting for the text, waiting for clarity, waiting for permission, waiting for these things. Let's talk about the origin for a minute, okay? This didn't start here. When somebody, let me tell you something. That's why I said, watch your mouth out here calling people pick-me's. Because if you've ever chosen anything or anyone over yourself, you've been a pick-me. So really watch your tone and watch your mouth. Okay? Watch your tone and watch your mouth. Seriously. Y'all hold y'all questions for me. I'm going to answer them toward the end. I got enough time for that. Okay? But this didn't start right here. This didn't start in this moment right here. There was a moment in your life where being chosen meant something. It really, really meant something in order for you to be chosen. It could be chosen for, and hear me now, because we carry things from childhood. This could be chosen for a specific program when you were in elementary school. You wanted to be chosen, you didn't get chosen. This could be a relationship. This could be your family wanting for them to show up and choose you. This could be a romantic relationship. This could be a position at a corporation. This could be you wanting to be chosen by a client. But there was some point in your life where being chosen meant something extremely deep for you. And when that happened, you learned, or let me say this, when you learned that when someone approved of you, things got easier. It got easier to deal with that person when somebody approved of you. And see, a lot of us, this is our parents now. See, when you meet their approval, things got easier for you because they weren't necessarily on you, right? When you learned that someone approved of you, you felt you were safer, right? It was the safer route for you to just approve of me, right? You learned that when someone approves you, that you're more accepted, which made you easier to assimilate in a society by being something that you weren't, right? When you learned that when someone approves you, you became more settled. And when you weren't chosen for anything after you learned this, something in you went quiet. Your body didn't argue, it just adjusted to the fact of you not being chosen. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. So what happened when you adjust? You adapted. And when you adapted, you became easier to choose. So what did you start doing? You became more agreeable. You became more aware of what you're doing and less aware of what's happening actually in the experience that's impacting you as well. Okay? Thank you, my love, for these gifts. You became more adjustable. Right? And now you don't move unless you feel selected. That's what happened. That's why you sitting in a space and you feel stuck, waiting on God, waiting on a text, waiting on clarity, waiting for permission, waiting to be. You don't move unless you are selected. That is the pattern that you have picked up. So let's talk about how that is controlling your life from the aspect of relationships, money, and life decisions, okay? Women who come to work with me, they have the top 3 results that I get are this. Women that come to work with me make more money. Women that come to work with me get healthier. I've talked about the lowest amount of weight I think a client has lost working with me is 30 pounds. The highest has been 90 pounds. Women also get the result coming to work with me. They have better relationships with the masculine, and they're able to sustain healthy relationships with the feminine. Because I don't like the way y'all abandon y'all community when pipe gets involved. It's not impressive. That is how you start the process of creating your own prison. When you abandon community for pipe. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That is how you begin to burden the person that you claim you wanted, because you start to make them responsible for everything that you had initially within yourself and within community that you abandoned for the pipe. Don't get me started. That's a whole nother conversation. But women that come to work with me, these are the things we correct. Because the biggest issues that women have, and I'm not even going to hold you, that I've realized that's a pattern, and I'm going to run it to you 2 ways. It's the money, it's the men, and it's your meals is where a big problem, those 3 heavy hitters. It's the finances, it's the fellas, and it's the food. Okay, where a lot of us have the big struggle. And those are the top results that I get from women. They make more money. They choose healthier experiences and have better relationships with the masculine and are able to sustain healthy community with the feminine. And they get healthier. Hold your questions, love. I'm going to answer towards the end. But I need you to understand how you waiting. And then I really don't like how a lot of y'all be like, you waiting on God. Stop lying on the Most High. Because all through scripture, people be having to take action to prove their belief. That's the only thing you really be having to prove. When it really comes to the Most High, truthfully, is really you proving your belief by being obedient and allowing things to be exactly what it's supposed to be. But you can't do that when you're not detached. When you're too attached to the world, you're too attached to the ideas that this world plants in your head. A lot of times y'all think y'all attached to men, and y'all attached to the idea of this man that you created in your mind. See, this is how the whole anxious avoidant trap a lot of women fall into happens a whole lot. It happens a whole lot because when you have the man, let's just say that he is an avoidant, right? She said learning this now, all praises. Thank you, Lovey, for these gifts and these likes. If you have a man who is in a state of being an avoidant, right? So he's kind of distant. If you are a woman who and I want to say this and make this really, really clear. But if you are a woman who is under the spell of anxious attachment style, hear me now, because it is a spell. The reason why I can tell you it's a spell is because I'm educated. I'm bachelor's up, master's up, and was getting my PhD, but I was in my ego, so I quit a year before I was intended to graduate. So when I talk about the psychology behind things, I'm not new to this. I'm extremely true to it. So hold tight. This whole attachment style and attachment thing is really a spell, and a lot of you have been finding your identity in that, and it's dangerous. When you say I am anxious attachment style, you attach your identity solely to that. The dangerous part of that is this. You're not supposed to be attached to anything of this world, because everything in this world has an expiration date. Everything in this world is going to have an exit. So this is why it tells you in scripture to not be conformed of this world, but transformed by the daily renewing of your mind. The daily renewing of your mind is important because every single day you get a new opportunity if you wake up because you have breath. When you are out here claiming that I am anxious attachment style, do you understand that that is a theory? Do you understand that attachment, it is called attachment theory, not attachment fact, not attachment truth, not attachment divine truth, not attachment theory. And I just want you to pay attention to how many of you have put yourself under a spell behind a theory. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So let me get back to the program. If you are dealing with someone and this is coming from someone who used to say that she was anxiously attached. And this is someone who had some anxious attachment issues. It's okay to say I have some issues and some anxiety around attachment. It's okay to say that, but to make that your identity is insane. And now, because I am a person who is extremely secured, no attach, extremely secure, no attach, okay? When you are an anxious attachment style woman, or you have these issues, and you are attracting and dealing with an avoidant man, the reason why you continue to find and attract these men is because you are on the frequency of fear. Avoidants are also on the frequency of fear. You cannot meet people and have love on the frequency of fear. You can only meet someone else who is going to evoke a nightmare experience. When you scary, he's scary, everybody's scary, it gets scary. It's real simple. It's real simple. So what happens is you, in your mind, because this person gives you limited interaction with them, what do you do in your anxious mind? Because your anxious attachment style has you overthinking, so you create a whole scenario in your mind. This is how limerence comes about. This is how romanticizing people that are not even real comes about. And this is how you become attached to an idea of something that does not even exist. Because he won't give you more cues and more clues. You make them up in your own mind. And we have been doing this since childhood. So ever since you've been writing your first name on a piece of paper and that little boy last name on a piece of paper. You've been doing this. You've been doing this. You understand? It is extremely dangerous because it is controlling your life. So let's talk about how it's controlling your life in the aspect of relationships. Okay? You don't choose them. A lot of you don't choose the men in your existence. And I hate that for you. A lot of you do not choose the men in your existence. You don't choose men. You wait to see about how a man feels about you. You say things like, I wonder if he likes me. Girl, do you like... Don't piss me. Do you like him? But see, you don't even know to assess if you really like him because you don't have a standard to compare to see if he even meet the requirements. You don't have standards because you don't know your value. A lot of you are not choosing men. Y'all are waiting around to see how they feel about you. So what happens? You adjust your energy. I think he might like this. You change your hair. You change, girl. A woman who is willing to alter her core for a man is the same woman that will your throat over one. A woman who is willing to alter her core is a woman in order to bring forth or have a man's attention will your throat behind one. A woman who is such in such a space that she would alter her core being to bring forth a man into her space will your throat behind one. And y'all be worrying about them sleeping with y'all, baby. You better worry about them folks your throat. Because you can never trust a shapeshifter. Don't you understand that? This is why men leave shapeshifters. You understand? See, he will tell you that he wants you to not wear weave. He wants you to not do this. He wants you to not do that. He wants you to not do this. Just to turn around and be exactly with the girl who doing all of that and leave you alone. Why? Because you can never trust the shapeshifter. You can never trust the shapeshifter. You can never trust someone when you don't know their true form. And in this life, form is everything. Because if you have the wrong form when you're working out, you can hurt yourself. Did you know that? This is why it's important. Form in this life is everything. Because it's a part of your character. See, I'm a nerd, and one of my favorite movies is Hook. Right? With Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. One of my favorite movies of all time. Soundtrack and all, right? That's the movie I will watch when I get sad a lot of times, right? If I'm sad, I will watch that too. So, one of the big things that Captain Hook would always say is bad form. bad form, bad character, bad positioning, bad form. Okay? And a lot of you have bad form. Bad form. You don't treat your own self well. You adjust your behavior. You adjust your energy, and you read his behavior. I am disgusted. I remember seeing a clip of a young lady, I'm not going to say her name, but I am disgusted at that clip that I saw. It was a young lady speaking about, this is a couple of years ago. She's talking about her relationship with her famous football player boyfriend. And she was talking about when he breathes and I scratch and I know he needs this and I know who needs that. And all I could see in that camera when she was speaking and all I can hear every single time and feel when I see him speaking is that you have so much energy for an individual who does not even have a corner of that type of energy or attention for you and your needs. And you are not that aware of yourself to understand that you are being siphoned. But you are aware of the way that he breathes and he scratches. The way y'all know these men's social security numbers but can't tell me why you keep repeating the pattern, though you keep being in school getting everybody a degree, is crazy. While getting played by somebody with a GED is even crazier. You adjust your energy. You read his behavior for signals and signs, and then you calculate your response based on his behavior. What do I always tell y'all? Belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. You believe in him more than you believe in yourself, so guess what? Your behavior reflects that. So little Miss Self-Sacrificial, you believe in him more than you believe in yourself, and that's why you're upset. Can we talk about how resentment is created within women? Let's talk about it for a second. I got a little time. So resentment is created in most women from you overextending and overfunctioning. See, that's why you mad. You ain't even mad at him that you gave him your years. You mad that you know you should have been done year 1 and you stayed to year 5 and you want to take that self-sacrifice energy out on somebody because you gave too much and all of a sudden you are a victim and you are this. Let me tell you something else I saw yesterday that really disgusted me, because let's get into it. I watched a video. And it was 2 women on a podcast. And they were speaking about how this woman wrote in, and it was on Reddit. And she said that she had been in a relationship with a guy from age 26 to 36. And as she approached year 36, this man reveals to her in a car ride on her birthday, on the way to try to figure out what it is that she wants to eat. He tells her, I don't like you. I never liked you. And I waited until you could not have kids with anyone else, because I didn't want you to have kids with anyone else, and I don't even want kids. And the women of the podcast, of course, was like, yes, he's evil, he's this, he's that. I don't doubt any of those things. I don't negate any of those things from that. But my question is, how did that man get 10 years of your life consistently? Because what you're not finna tell me is he is that good. You're not going to tell me that that man is that good, that he had you tricked for 10 years. You're not going to tell me that. Let me tell you something. You can watch an episode of Snapped and see how it builds up to a woman actually snapping. See, when that first thing fall, you should have been out of there. But no, you started overextending. You started overfunctioning because you ain't dealt with that problem and that pattern since childhood, and you thought it was going to fix things. And because when you realize that this has not been fixed and nothing is changing, and this person wants nothing to do with you no matter how much you shapeshift, now you want to take them out? Oh, is that so? I mean, these women was on there talking about he's evil, he's this. He literally stole 2. Look. Can't nobody steal time. See, that's the one thing you can't steal in this world. You can't steal nobody else's time. Corporate is not even stealing your time. You have to sign on the dotted line for them to tax on your soul to meet their goals for 30 years. So what we doing? We have to be honest about the scenarios that we put ourselves in. Was that dirty and low down? Absolutely. Was that disgusting? Absolutely. Is she absolved of personal responsibility? Please. women underestimate how vindictive men are. Let me explain something to you, and I'm going to tell you like I tell everyone else. The reality of this is this. Before you enter into anything with anyone, before you call yourself asking a question to a creation, you ask the creator of that creation about that creation. See, the truth is people don't ask the creator about his creations. They just jump into creating things with them. That's what happens. They jump into creating things with them when they don't have understanding or value of themselves. Nobody is that vindictive to where they can get over on you for 10 years. Nobody can play you without permission, without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention as a woman. You have been given a gift. Your nervous system finds the pattern before your mind even catches up to it. So ain't nobody that cold. I have a lot of spiritual knowledge, several spiritual gifts. I ain't that cold. I don't know enough. Nobody is that good to fool you for 10 years. You can fool your damn self though. You can do that. There is one truth that I hear men say consistently is that when a woman like you, you don't even have to lie to her. She'll lie to herself. And that's a fact. Because every single time you denied your nervous system or you denied an investigation of what you felt within your nervous system, you denied yourself the truth. Nobody can play you without your permission, participation, or the fact that you simply are not paying attention. And that's just period. And the truth is we see what we want to see when we want to see it. When you understand that, you stop positioning yourself to be in the victim experience consistently over and over and over again, because that is a cycle. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Period. He gave omission and you gave permission. But here's the thing though, even if he gave omission, if you ask the creator of all things, I guarantee you all things will be revealed. According to James, it literally tells you if you ask the Most High for wisdom, it does not matter. You will always get the answer you're looking for, but you are responsible for what you get once you ask. But women don't want to ask because you don't want to be denied from the fine man that you want that's about to destroy your life. That really be the truth. You don't want to be told no because you're not used to saying no. Again, women who refuse no are women who don't know how to say no. Baby, you on the same seesaw. Your turn. You up. You up. So this is the thing, excuse me, that we have to realize again. Let's talk about how this pattern is consistently controlling your life. You're not choosing men. You wait on them to choose you. You're waiting to see how they feel about you. So you're adjusting your energy. You're reading his behavior. Then you're calculating his response. Your response based on his behavior. Because your belief is more in him than it is within yourself. So you position yourself to overfunction, overextend. And then you are expecting somebody to stay in that space with you when you don't even value yourself. Your entire emotional experience is based on his movement. That's crazy. Y'all be waiting on men to move like that? I'm giving him 6 months to let me know, if he ain't did it in 6 months, it's not going to happen. Girl, he ain't finna do it in 6 months. What you finna do today? You don't even know if you're going to be living in 6 months. This is the type of foolishness. This is the type of foolishness that women will do. I'm giving him 6 months. Girl, you don't know if you're going to be alive in 6 minutes. And you're going to waste your last 6 minutes being stressed out over... Please, I'm tired. Aren't you tired? My soul is tired for you. I'm so for real. You not tired? Because I'm just trying to understand your entire emotional experience in these relationships with men is based on their movements, and it's crazy. And they making moves like chess, making moves for themselves. And you're playing yourself to the left. That's absolutely insane to me. Absolutely insane. Let's talk about how this same pattern is moving and controlling your money. Because like I said, women have issues in the same 3 areas. That's what y'all be on here for content. Money, men, and meals. Food, fellas, and finances. It's always issues around that. Trying to get my health together. Oh my God, with these men. Oh my God. It's what it is. Thank you, my love. Yay, 32,000. Thank y'all so much. So this is the thing. So let's get into the money aspect. This is why a lot of your money feels extremely consistent. Okay? Save that question for me towards the end, boo, and I got you. Okay, I'm almost done. So this is why a lot of people feel like their money is consistent. It's because you don't decide your value. You don't decide your value. Okay? You wait to see what someone else is willing to accept. And this, for a lot of us, for a lot of you, this started in corporate America. You were so happy to have a job after not having one or not being able to find one that you accepted the salary that they offered you immediately. You just accepted it. And you didn't know the value that you provide. Therefore, you could not show up in the fullness of your self-worth, and you sold yourself for cheap. They're not going to tell you that you're selling yourself for cheap. They're going to just keep the extra $50,000 on the table because you don't understand your value. We're like this because you're programmed to be like this. It's going to be on YouTube. You're programmed to not feel worthy. And that's a whole nother conversation. I talked about that on my last YouTube video. You can go check it out. I'm talking about your childhood program. You click the link in the bio to get access, scroll down. That's the video you're going to see on YouTube. And I tell you how you got this mindset. You got this mindset from in your household, because if nobody in your household made over $40,000, them telling you to take that $100,000 job, it makes sense to them because they've never seen it. The same name that's on here. They've never seen $100,000. So they're going to tell you to take that. They're not going to tell you to, thank you, my lovey. They're not going to tell you to ask for more. They don't know to ask for more. Is that your folks' fault? No, it's not. But them not teaching you your value is not an excuse for you to walk around as an able-bodied adult, especially once the brain has come to full development, for you to settle for less. What you did not know. They can't teach what they didn't know. Another way that we found ourselves not feeling worthy is twisted scriptural text. Scriptural text. There is nowhere in the scripture that tells you that you got to struggle to create success, to have love. It does not say that. The people who were trained to teach tradition taught us that in the name of calling it church. They were not teaching the truth. In scripture, it tells you how valuable you are. It tells you how you should take care of yourself. It tells you how you should be setting boundaries. It tells you how not to get played. It tells you to know your value, to know your worth, and to not let people play in your face. That's literally what the text says. That's literally what the text says. But they told you that you not worthy, you this and you that. That is not what that says. That is not what that says. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. That's not what that says. And so you developed a mindset that everything has to struggle. So they telling you to stay with somebody and then they do things like, oh, you get married, you marry somebody for love, you find yourself in that space. Don't let man tear up what God put together. The Most High didn't even put that together. You marry for love based on a Disney program, so you marry based on your feelings. The Most High didn't even put this together. For real though. And then they telling you to stay in something that's not healthy and that's not real and that's not even honorable to the Most High. And they telling you to stay in it by twisting text. This is how we think low of ourselves, because we don't read. We've been taught the text from a trapped perspective, from a fear-based perspective. And that is not the truth. That is not the truth. And that's the problem. So you don't know your value because you don't know your true identity. And don't even get me started. Don't even get me started about the biggest lie of all time, about our true history and who we truly are, and how they hijacked the birthright to try to make you feel like you were the peasant, when in reality, you was never the peasant. You was never the minority. You was never that. That's one of the greatest spells of all time. But I ain't even going to call them because they're going to try to ban me or say I'm such and such if I tell their truth. But folks who behind closed doors with me, who work with me, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm saying. They have hijacked your birthright to make you feel like believe you a slave. They have taken books out of the scripture to control you, because if those other books were in the scripture, if you read the Ethiopian Bible, you will know that you are to hold your leaders accountable. Your leaders are to be held to a certain standard. Did you even know in scripture that it says, don't try to be a judge if you can't resist a bribe? See, these are the things that it says. But they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you that you need to be a slave. You need to obey your master. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you how they changed everything to position you to be a slave. Because if you believe you're a slave, you'll submit like a slave to all of the systems that have been presented to you. Period. This was all by design. See, everything is about structure. Everything is about form. Form is everything in this life, even on the demonic end. Form is everything in this life. They have been spoon feeding you things over the last 200 years to prepare for what's happening right now. Like, this is not nothing new. This is something that's true. This is something that they've been doing. They've been telling you, YOLO, you only get one life, while siphoning the hell out of yours for years and years and years by continuing to pour in programming that they know is going to damage you. Because why? Belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way you behave. Don't believe me? Think about a pregnancy scare. You thought you was pregnant, you was throwing up, you was doing all this stuff, and then the test came, you're not pregnant, you're not throwing up no more. Why? Because belief impacts biology, and biology influences the way that you behave. So when you believe that you were pregnant, the brain picked up all the knowledge that it had around pregnancy that you had acquired all your life and begin to exhibit those examples, because the brain is following what is being said. This is why music is so important. This is why music is a medium. See, that's what I be saying. A lot of y'all be saying stuff and don't be knowing, like, I don't practice witchcraft. I don't do this. I don't do that. Let me tell you something. Music is a medium. So if you're listening to music that is programming you to feel like you sell dope on a Monday morning, the energy you come into work with is going to be that, whether you believe it's aggressive or not, but it's the reality, because it's a program. Because when you are listening to music, which is a medium, and a medium is basically a way to be able to get in the in-between without you knowing. So music, how it works, and because they understand sound and frequency, these things have been studied for a long time. So when you listen to a medium such as music, the beat is going to the creative side of your brain, which is the right side of your brain. And this is why, when it's been proven, when you listen to classical music, when you listen to music with no words, your creativity enhances. You begin to create. Time slows down. This is why when you're listening to music, it seems like time is longer versus when you are watching television, because time seems to collapse and go a lot faster, because the left side of your brain is picking up what is being put down lyrically. How it works is like this. I am speaking. The air particles are vibrating. You are hearing it through your ear. Your eardrum is beating. We have a message. We have a message. Wake up, left side of the brain. I need you to process this linguistics. Thank you. The left side of the brain begins to pick up the words. The words are being programmed in your head. This is why you know songs that you don't like. I hate this song. Why is it in my head? I don't know. Maybe because in 2000, when they were doing payola, they paid people to play certain songs on the radio over and over and over and over again to get people to take it in. It's for you to be singing it, for it to be catchy. That's, if you pay attention to how music has shifted and changed, it's shifted and changed to more of a catchy thing. So I want you to think about the things that are catchy and how they get in your brain. Society has tricked the entire world to absolutely singing almost every Sexy Red song. And I don't have anything against her. Don't get it twisted. Everybody make their own choices in their own life and whatever works for them. But how the entire world was able to come into singing these songs and different things like that is because now they've caught on to the fact that it was catchy. It's catchy. And if we can get it catchy on the left side of the brain, they'll begin to speak it. And if they begin to speak it, they begin to curse themselves. Why? Because there is power of life and death in the tongue. Thank you, my love, for these gifts and these likes. And the things that you speak become your reality, because they also can become your cage if you are not careful. So these are the things that you have to really pay attention to, because it's extremely important and it's extremely vital. When you don't understand your identity, you will settle. Hey, sis, you will settle. Okay? So again, let's talk about how this is impacting your money. If you feel like your money is inconsistent, it's because you have not decided your value. And if you have not decided your value, 9 times out of 10, you don't know your value. Thank you, sis. Y'all, if y'all have fibroid issues, go follow Sasha Rose, a health coach. She just sent me some gifts right now. It might be popping up. Go follow her ASAP, okay? True Speak for the Love of True, James 2. Exactly. So this is the thing. When you don't understand your value, right? Or your money feels inconsistent, is because you have not decided your value. So you are waiting on someone to accept you, much like waiting on somebody to call you back for a job interview or waiting to call you back to see if you got the position. It's the same type of energy. You adjust your pricing so it feels reasonable. Let me tell y'all something that somebody told me. One of my amazing friends who was my coach, and she's my friend now, she told me, stop counting other people's pockets. Like, stop. Stop trying to be affordable. If this is the value that you offer, then this is the value that you offer, period. Stop trying to be affordable, because here's the truth. This is what we all know is true. We pay for what we want. We pay for what we deem valuable. We pay for what we want. We will save money for what we want. We will sacrifice for what we want. We will not eat out in certain things because this is what we want. Stop trying to fit in boxes. Your client has your money to pay you. And if that person can't pay you, it ain't their time or they ain't your client. If they trying to haggle you, they're not your people. Stop. Stop. And I'm dead serious. Stop. Because you're trying to be reasonable. Or you need to, let me tell you something. YouTube free. YouTube free. It's a lot of information out here. What people like to call saturation and all of that is out here for you to be able to access. You getting access to me and what I had to learn that is taking my time, my energy, my attention, my money, my effort, you are going to have to invest in. And it's bigger than your money because, like I said, the creator pays me, not you. Point blank, period, the end. So if you not coming, somebody always coming, because I'm always showing value, and that's law. Value has to be returned to me. But the thing is this. You don't need to be restructuring or changing your prices to try to make it for somebody to fit in. It's either in alignment for them or it's not. It's either in alignment for y'all to work together or it's not. And what you need to understand as a business owner, if it's not in alignment to work with you because this person doesn't have the money, you need to honor that, because I'm going to tell you something as someone who has done it, someone who's built a multi-six-figure business from the ground up without hustling, who has made mistakes. Let me tell you one of the mistakes that I made in regard to this. There is a big difference between a person who wants to stretch out payments and a person who wants to pay you in full. And it's really not the amount of money. It's really not the money. It's truly the belief, because when you got to put up $2,500 to come see me and sit in my program, one of my programs, that holds you at a higher level of accountability for yourself, because now you got to prove that you're going to show up for yourself to make sure this works. It's you. But if you get to pay $10 a month to Planet Fitness, see, you can let that $10 build up to $120, because it's not that much of an investment. It's not that much responsibility required. But see, when you putting it on the line, and you putting it out there, you got to show up. And a lot of you are really scared of showing up, because the truth is, as much as you claim you want to be out here and be viral and be visible, you don't want to be seen for real. You don't want to be exposed. Because a lot of you are coming into these spaces performing, and let me put you on game. Performing in business in this society, the human performance era is over with. People want to know who you are before they give you their money. They done been scammed enough. It's enough AI. See, people not going for that. And you scared to be who you are. That's the truth. That's why you ain't ready to put it up. That's why you want to alter your price points and do this and do that. That's why. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. And it all goes back to the fact that you don't know your value. All of it. So you wait to see what somebody is willing to accept. You adjust your pricing to feel reasonable. You soften your offers because you don't want them to feel like it's too much. You are not building from decision, and that's a problem. You're building from permission. And if you always are waiting for permission, you will never get picked, but you will continue to carry the energy of a pick me, which will make you extremely unattractive, because who could trust a people pleaser or a shapeshifter? Who? When you are willing to not stand on the value of who you are and the truth of who you are, how can I trust you with my money? How can I trust you with my journey as a business owner? How can I trust you? See, these are the things that we have to start dealing with. That's what that pattern causes. I'm waiting. Y'all are not stuck. You are literally structurally addicted to being chosen. That is your structure until you restructure. That is your truth. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. So we've talked about how this pattern controls your life. Your money and your relationships, right? Wow, you're talking to me. Honey, we're going to get into it. I got something for you. Hold tight. Now we're going to talk about your life decisions, because these are the big things. We talked about money. We talked about relationships. Now let's get into your life decisions. The reason why your life feels delayed is there's something that you're supposed to do, and you just didn't do it. A move you didn't make, a conversation you postponed, a decision you've been sitting on for months. Not because you didn't know these things, but because you were waiting for it to feel certain. Do you understand how dangerous that is when you start doing stuff like that? Your life on the line. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Your life is on the line. It's between life and death with you, and you want to wait. Let me put this in perspective. Do you understand every single day you wake up is not guaranteed that you're going to wake up the next morning? And what a lot of you are choosing to do with each opportunity that you wake up, you are choosing to wait for permission. Excuse me. You are choosing to wait for somebody to call you. You are choosing to wait for clarity. You're choosing to wait for the right time. You're choosing to wait for these things. And you don't even know if you have time. Like, I never seen such a society that doesn't own time try to waste so much time. Like, you don't even know if you're going to get another opportunity, but you're choosing to not make the move you're supposed to make today that's going to put you in a better position. You're choosing to not have the conversation that you continue to postpone. You're choosing to not make a decision that you've been sitting on for months. And it's not even because you don't know. It's because you're waiting to feel certain. My God. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. Really? Waiting to feel safe? Waiting for someone to confirm that you're not about to mess this up? So you just stayed still? And let me tell you what a lot of y'all do. You call it being responsible. I'm not going to leave this job where I'm making this money because, I need the stability to be able to pay my bills. Though I know it's extremely exhausting to me. I know that I'm actually supposed to be working in my business. I can't devote my time to my business because, I'm being responsible by making sure that I have the money and everything I need. So I leave at the right time. Next thing you know, you get fired. Now what? Y'all can keep thinking it's a game, but I told y'all in 2023. By 2027, most jobs are going to be absolved, and most people are going to be doing contract work. One of these days, y'all gonna believe me, because I be telling y'all stuff, and then it happened, and you come and be like, oh my God, this happened. Yes. These corporations are figuring out how to cut down and save themselves money. Their bottom line is their business. It's not you. If you don't value you, no one else is going to value you. And if you want to know if they value you, go in there and put your 2-week notice in and see if they go back to the back and give you some more money. If they don't go back to the back and give you more money, you've been irreplaceable from the jump, which is why they treat you like they treat you. Baby, nobody ever was going to dog me out for a check. You understand? I would never, baby, a man can't dog me out for his money. A man can't treat me any kind of way because he got money. You think I'm gonna let a corporation do it? Please. Yep, it's happening in DC right now as we speak. See? That's what I'm saying. They are cutting down on these corporations. They're even buying these office buildings and just keeping them up for space. Like, it's so much stuff that's happening that y'all have no idea about, but y'all are so committed to looking responsible. It's the responsible thing for me to do, to wait until this the right time, until I'm safe, until I can confirm that I'm not going to mess this up. And you sit there calling yourself responsible. You're not being responsible. You scared. You scared. Thank you, my love, for these gifts, these likes, and these comments. You scared. You scared. And you're waiting to be chosen. You're waiting to get permission. They're even getting rid of the buildings and leases. Baby, see? Let's talk about the cost a little bit deeper. When you wait to be chosen, which is what you're basically doing, you delay your life. You tolerate misalignment. Yes, 45K. Thank y'all so much. You shrink your standards. You over explain yourself in scenarios where you should make an exit. And guess what happens? Over time, you stop recognizing what it is that you actually want. Do y'all know how many conversations I have with women who don't know what they want, who don't know what they like, but they can tell me everything from their husband's social security number or the man that they dealing with social security number, all his Instagram pages, all even his fake pages, his Facebook. You can tell me the way he liked to sleep, his favorite meal and all that, but you cannot even tell me what you actually like and want in his life. You could tell me his children's name and you ain't got no kids. Over time, you stop recognizing what you actually want the more you wait, because you've been calibrating your life to what feels acceptable. So being a pick-me, thank you, my love, isn't just in relationships. Anytime you choose anyone and anything over your spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, emotional, financial, social well-being, then you are being a pick-me because you're picking them over you. So you've been calibrating your life to feel what's accepted. And the truth of that is you've already tried to think your way out of it, because can I be honest with you? The majority of women who in this pattern are educated. Baby, you got a bachelor's, you got a master's, you got a PhD, but you're getting swindled by somebody with a GED or no education at all, because you can't see you can see everything but yourself. You can see everything but the patterns within yourself that you continue to repeat. And some of you even see the patterns, but you still keep doing it and you can't figure out why. Why? Because it's not, I don't know why I keep doing this when I feel differently. Because it's not about your feelings, it's about your structure. And when we're talking about your structure, we're talking about nervous system work. See, now we get into the truth. This is why your mindset work don't work. This is why your affirmations don't work. This is why your manifestation techniques don't work. The nervous system chooses what is familiar, and you have not updated the program. Imagine how many times you upgraded your phone since you got a phone? How many times have you upgraded your phone and updated every single phone that you've gotten? When the last time you upgraded and updated yourself, though? When was the last time you updated your own program? But you're so quick to update the program on the phone. When I tell you, I'll be one of the last people to update my phone program. Baby, that thing be almost having to turn off before I update it, because that's how much I don't care, okay? But when it comes down to updating me every single morning, every single day, do you understand what I'm telling you? That phone right now, it ain't even updated. I got a message this morning. This didn't download. It didn't update tonight. All right, girl. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I may not even be here. It may not even matter. Am I up to date? That's what I care about. Okay? So you're not able to think your way through this. A lot of you have journaled. A lot of you have processed this in therapy. A lot of you understand, but you still in it. Hi, lovey. Because this is not a thinking problem, what I'm telling you. This is a structural problem. Hold that question for me. I'm going to answer it because I'm almost at the end. It's a structural problem. It's not a thinking problem. You cannot think your way out of a pattern. You cannot think your way out of a pattern you are still behaving in, okay? The woman who changes her life stops waiting to be chosen. She chooses first. This is why I tell you all the time, the people that's in my community, none of them chose me, even if they think they chose me. And they know this about me. I make it very clear. Y'all didn't choose me. I'm Big Chief. I chose everybody over here. And I know exactly why I chose everybody over here. From my best friend to the men I date. I know exactly why I choose who I choose. I do the picking and the choosing. They don't choose me. And the reality of the situation, people kind of come back, well, he who findeth a wife, key word, he who findeth a wife. You still have to choose him, clown. Hello? Wake it up. I do the choosing and the picking. And I do the hiring and the firing. I am the executive director, the casting director in my life movie. And I'm the main character. And I get to decide who supports me. Good evening and good night. And if you ain't supportive, you're cut. Okay? So, the woman that changes her life, she stops waiting to be chosen. She chooses first. She chooses the standard. She chooses the pace. She chooses the outcome. You understand? So, if you are done waiting, if you are done reacting, if you are done adjusting your life around other people, then I have one more spot for the Pattern Interruption Lab, and we start tomorrow. This is not coaching. This is not emotional processing. This is where your behavior gets corrected. And the women that come into that space, they see results. Okay? You can click the link in the bio to get access to that. It's $888. You can get a recliner, firm, and afterpay. This is the last cohort that's going to be at $888. It is going up to $1,500. So, one spot left for that. Now, let's talk about this aspect of it. If you're not ready for the pattern interruption lab, if you want to see the exact pattern that is running your life before you commit to dismantling it, then that's what the structural pattern audit is for, okay? I have 3 more sessions of that. Those are $197. It's straight precision, okay? You will leave knowing exactly what the pattern is that has been running your life and how to flip it, what you can do to flip it, okay? So that's the second thing. Another thing that I have for you, you can click the link in the bio to get access to this diagnostic. If you are a woman and you are dating, you are working in business, you are working in corporate, you are living life, you need to click the link in the bio and take my feminine architecture diagnostic exam, because you need to understand and uncover all of the things that are running your existence right now. It is going to tell you why you attract what you attract. It's going to go deep. It is going to read you for filth, but in a way that is going to help you elevate your life. There's a free version, and then there's a paid version that you can get. The paid version really go deep, but the initial version goes pretty deep. And you click the link in the bio to get access to that. That is my gift to you. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you about that. Because that is my gift to you, you are responsible for what you know. To whom much is given, much is required. That's scripture. So you can't act like you didn't know what your part was and what your role has been in the experiences that you have been having with money, with men, and with yourself. Because that is going to tell you the absolute truth. I have not had a woman come to me yet and say that that thing is not on point. I have not had a woman yet to come to me and say, you know what, this thing read me on a whole nother level. Okay, and I needed it. Now, let's get into this last piece. So here are the options that you have. I want everyone to take the feminine architecture diagnostic. That's number 1, okay? If you're ready to come into the pattern interruption lab, I got one more spot. You can click the link in the bio to get access to it. The next thing is this, and I dropped this and I haven't talked about it, but I'm talking about it now. If you are in business, I have a gift for you. I started another Substack. Okay, it is called the Structural Elevation Society. Okay, this is for the woman who already knows that this is not just a pattern that's impacting her business. It's the entire structure. It's the way you think. It's the way you decide. It's the way you position yourself in life. The Structural Elevation Society is where you come to, is not where you come, to figure that out. It's where you come when you want your authority to stabilize. Okay, so we're not doing all these crazy coaching calls and stuff like that. It is literally a Substack. So this is what I'm going to give you, and this is what you get. So every single week, thank you, lovies, yay 50K, you're going to get a letter that is breaking down your structure with an instruction and a strategy to help you elevate your business every single month. Because here's the thing I need you to understand, and the link is in the bio. When you stabilize authority-wise, your money comes in. And there's a bonus gift. I dropped the first article today. The first article is actually free. And it's a structural capacity diagnostic. Let me tell you what it is and what it does. So this diagnostic is going to help you identify what is happening inside of your own operation, your own business. If you answer honestly, and do not answer based on what you think someone should do, it's going to let you know what is happening in your business and why the money and the revenue may not be coming in the way it needs to come in. That is free to you. It is a diagnostic. You take the diagnostic, the answers are at the bottom, and then at the bottom you have an opportunity to join the subscription, which is $197 a month. Like I said, you're going to get four executive letters, which is going to be structural exposures that are going to reveal where your authority is leaking, which means where your money is seeping out, okay? You're also going to get once a month you get 4 letters. You're getting 1 implementation blueprint where I'm having you walk through the exact structure that you need to correct it. It's a precise PDF outline on how to correct that structural flaw that's blocking you from getting the money you want to get, okay? You also are going to get one audio installation. So you're not getting just, oh, I'm getting this. No, you're not getting it. You're getting the structure, the strategy. So if you've been making money in your business and you kind of have capped out, or you're not making the type of money that you want to make, the Structural Elevation Society is going to help you with that. It is $197. You can get it with Klarna Firm and Afterpay. No. The membership you can get with Klarna Firm and Afterpay, excuse me. The membership is $197 a month. It is going to help you set up your structure in business. I am not just talking about money. I'm talking about identity. I'm talking about the psychology behind your sales. I'm teaching you what it is as a person who was built a multi-six-figure business from the ground up. This is my second business. My first business was a flop because I thought that I had to work hard and hustle to make money, and I burned the hell out. I want you to not burn out. I need you to understand that making money is very different now. We live in a trust economy. We live in a connection is currency economy. And you have to build trust through your leadership, your integrity, your character, and your authenticity, because authenticity gets you in the room, character keeps you in the room. So if you want to do the work from a space of integrity and you want your income to come in and you not feeling like you got to scam nobody for it, then you want to be a part of the Structural Elevation Society. Because once you have structure, then you can feel and live out of that structure and create a softer life. You cannot have a soft life without structure. This is going to help you set up the structure for your business. You want to know how I'm able to travel around the country and the world and work from anywhere and do my work and not hustle and go live every single day and do this? How to position yourself in regard to automation, how to not make yourself a slave to your business like you did in corporate and keep the cash flow coming in? Then come into the Structural Elevation Society. Like I said, click the link in the bio to subscribe. The first article is free with the diagnostic in it to support you to see where you are in business. Once you take the diagnostic, you're going to know which one of these results actually falls into place with you, okay? Some of you lack the structural integrity. Some of you lack have structural drift, and some of you have structural inversion. When you take this diagnostic, you're going to know which one. Because as a business owner, you need to be operating like a CEO. No longer I'm an entrepreneur. You are now a CEO, and I'm teaching you how to operate like a CEO and get paid like a CEO, okay? So you can click the link in the bio to subscribe to the Structural Elevation Society. I also have another Substack. I have a couple other Substacks. One where I talk about dark feminine things. That one is not posted, but you can click the link in my bio to subscribe to the Red Knowledge Tree. And then when you do that, you see my profile. You can go to the Black Sanctum and read some of those dark feminine posts. But the Red Knowledge Tree is more of my light feminine posts. Very spiritual instructions, very clear spiritual knowledge. It's feminine sacred teachings that you're going to need, okay? So click the link in the bio to get access to any of these things. What questions do you guys have for me, if any? Drop those questions for me, and I will answer them for you. So what questions do you guys have before I get ready to let y'all go? Like I said, click the link in the bio to get access to the Feminine Architecture Diagnostic, to sign up for the Structural Elevation Society. If you sign up for the free version of the Structural Elevation Society, you're only going to get one letter a month, and it's going to be a kind of general letter. It's going to be good, but it's going to be a general letter. The juice, the structure, what it takes to make the money, that's going to be for the people who's behind the paywall, and it's $197, okay? And you can click the link in the bio to get access to that. What questions do you guys have for me, if any, around today's topic? Because I hope that you realize that a lot of you have not been stuck. You just are in a space where structurally you're addicted to being chosen, and this is what it's led to. Heavy impacts on your money, heavy impacts on your relationships, heavy impacts on your life decisions. And if you don't correct it, you're just going to keep repeating it. And I want to say this too, like, my lives are great, and you're going to get a lot of information from it. But if you want your life changed, you're going to have to get behind closed doors with me, because that's where the real work is. That's why the Pattern Interruption Lab only allots for 8 seats, because I believe in quality work, a quality experience. I don't need a bunch of you to come in this space, and it's not about you paying my money. I need your results. I need, because like the scripture said, they will know you by your fruit. I need your fruit to be shown. So I'm here to put you in position, prune, we getting this fruit, okay? Thank you, Lovey. But like I said, you only get so much from my free lives. You get a lot more behind closed doors because I'm right there. Can you tell me why I feel a sick feeling deep in my stomach? Might be off topic. No, I can't really tell you that, but I can't tell you that without asking you, more specific questions around that. I would have to ask, like, what happens before that? What happens after that? What's this? That's more of a pattern interruption lab question, where I would ask you specifics around that, and then I would immediately support you in you realizing the pattern that you have, and from that, teaching you how to correct the behavior of how you respond to pattern. So that if you're feeling it, what I can tell you, the feeling that you're feeling in your stomach is worth investigation. That's what I can tell you. Okay, so we have to start asking questions about what is evoking this feeling and all those things, and getting to the root of that. Okay, when is the pattern interruption lab? I'm asking because of my work schedule, and are they replays? Absolutely, they're replays. So I run the pattern interruption lab like a clinic. Okay, we meet on Thursdays. Our first meeting is going to be tomorrow. It's 28 days. Our first meeting is going to be tomorrow. We meet at noon and 6 p.m. You don't have to come to both sessions. You just have to select the session that you want to come to. A lot of my clients who live in different countries, I have a client that's from Ghana. She's in here now. The Phoenix Rising Lifestyle. I have another client who lives in the UK. They are going to be coming to the 12 noon sessions Central Standard Time, because the time difference for them, I want to say, is like 6 p.m. or something like that. So they tend to come at noon. The women who tend to work, they tend to come at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. You will have access to be able to watch both sessions, either session, and you have the option to come to either session. Now, here's the thing. If you choose that 6 p.m. is your session, you can't come into the 12 p.m. session and want me to interrupt your patterns and do behavior corrections at 12 p.m. because that's not your time. I'm only going to address your specific patterns during the time that you select. You are open to come and watch. You are open to come and commune. And plus, we have a Telegram group that's going to be released tonight, and you get access to these replays. So we're always connecting and meeting every single week. So yes, there are replays. Yes, you can select the time that you're going to come. I run it like that for a reason, for women who are in other countries as well as for women who are working, because these patterns have to be interrupted. So yes, ma'am, they are. And if you're interested in that, you can click the link in the bio to get access. When you click the PDF, because it's going to show you, it's like, oh, it's a Google Doc, scroll all the way down. It's going to ask you for a payment. Once you do your payment, you can get a recliner affirm afterpay. Like I said, it's $888. Once you do that, I'm going to send you a contract. You're going to get your contract. You're going to get your pre-work, and we're going to see you in the session tomorrow. Okay? So that's how it goes. Any other questions? Any other questions? And the structural audit sessions that are $197, those are 45 minutes. We come in, we create. Yes, so excited for round 2. For the pattern interruption lab, I have 2 options. I have a 4-week option and I have a 12-week option. You can't come into the 12-week option. I need to have you in the 4-week option to see if you're able to do what you need to do for yourself, and you get the results that you're looking for yourself in those 4 weeks before I say, hey, if you want to, we can transition into 8 weeks. That's exactly what happened with Sean here, the Phoenix Rising Lifestyle. She's saying she's round 2. She's coming back for 8 weeks. She did the first round for 4 weeks. So everyone comes in and they do the 28 days because I need to see that you're grasping that before we go deeper. Some people want you to come in and just like, oh, pay the money so you can come to. I don't need your money that bad to scam you till you're not getting the results. I need your fruit. I need your fruit. I need you to see fruit. Okay? So I'm not concerned with getting your money. I need you to see fruit. I need you to have these processes down pat. I need you to see life-changing events and things happening on the inside of you. Okay? That's what I need. Does the camera have to be on for those sessions? Because no, boo. The cameras don't have to be on if you don't want the cameras to be on. Other people will have most people will have theirs on, but I don't mandate it. Yes, you do have homework outside of class, but it's not anything that's ridiculous at all. And Sean, you tell me, because I know you've been through the lab and different things like that. Yes, it is the end love. I know with you being in the lab, you can attest to how homework assignments are not overwhelming. I make it very simple for you because I give you a lot of framework. So not only do I teach you assignments are not overwhelming, I make it very simple for you because I give you a lot of framework. So not only do I teach you things, but then I give you pocket things that you can have in your phone. So if you forget or you lose your way, you not only have the Telegram group to let me know when you have a moment of activation, you also have something on your phone that's like a pocket thing to remind you of what the framework is and what that looks like and how to utilize it. So I provide you with a lot of supportive elements to make sure that you get the results. You just have to come in and be ready to do the work. Honestly, if you're ready to come in and do the work, you're going to be good to go. If you're not ready to come in and do the work, you know. She said, no, it's not overwhelming, but it will make you see yourself. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what this program is. And I also have a zero venting policy here. So we don't get in here and people like, oh my God, this and this and that, and they want to talk about trauma. We don't do that. We have a zero venting policy in my programs because we are solution oriented. This is not a community where you come in and everybody's talking about, oh my God, this going on, and it's just pain and problems. Absolutely not. We are solution based. We are fruit based, and we are serious over here. And if you want your life change, and that's how you gotta, that's how you have to be during the process of changing your life for real. You have to, creating the structure ain't fun, but the freedom and the softness and the things that you can do from that structure and create from that structure is going to be very, very beautiful for you. That's where your fruit is going to come in. So I'm helping you ladies groundwork, and it changes your life. It changes your life. Okay? Any other questions before I get off here? Any questions? Thank you. So the nervous system change happens by the end of the first week. Honey, the nervous system change starts week 1 if you come in serious. Week 1, when I give you that airframe, you gonna know what time it is. Listen, X the ones. See, Sean is putting an exclamation. That, trust me, when week 1, you gonna see what time it is. So it's all about what you want. Okay. So the 197 monthly is where we should start, especially women in business. If you're strictly focused on business, then I would tell you to schedule the 197. But this is what I can do, and I will consider doing because I'm just dropping both today, and it's dropped in my spirit. I'll do that. So if you, the princess, if you decide that, because I need to know what's happening and going on with you, so I would much rather you actually schedule a structural pattern audit session. And what I'm willing to do if you book that session today is to give you 1 month free of the Structural Elevation Society, and then you get to decide if you want to continue that membership. Then you will continue to pay, because the first month we're actually dealing with identity. But in order for me to hit the target of what you may be looking for, my recommendation would be for you to schedule that session with me first, and then I will gift you a month for that. And that's for anyone on this live. If you schedule, because I have 3 spots left, 197, and you click the link in the bio, it says structural audit, pattern audit session. When you book that session, you make your payment. I'm going to send you an email where you schedule your session. While on that session, we're going to talk about the pattern that's bothering you, that's messing with you in business, which normally what's happening in business is happening in life across the board. So we'll address that, and then we'll go in from there, give you your pattern, and then you'll be able to see the identity work and structure necessary for the first month. Because the first month, the executive files are focusing on the restructuring of identity so that you can actually start bringing in the right type of client that will pay you the value that you're providing, right? So click the link in the bio to get access to that. And that's for anyone who books. I have 3 more of those spots. So those 3 spots, if you book those spots today, I will allow you to have be gifted the first month of the Structural Elevation Society. The link says for me to get in the list. Is that correct? So what I want you to do is X out of that Because if you're on your phone or computer, X out of that, they want you to sign up for my email list. You can sign up for my email list and then it's going to move you, but you don't necessarily have to do that if that ain't what you want to do. Just hit the X and then go ahead and start looking at the options, okay? I forgot that it does that. Yes, the pattern interruption lab is for personal growth. It can be applied to business too, though. It can be applied to business too, okay? So that's how that works. Any other questions? And remember, with the pattern interruption lab, you got to scroll down. It's gonna say make your payment here or different things like that, but you have to actually click that. I don't think it's highlighted, but yeah. Any other questions, loves, about any of the products or services? The Structural Elevation Society, Structural Audit, Pattern Audit Session, or the Pattern Interruption Lab. And then, of course, you can scroll down. I have my YouTube for you to subscribe. I have my Substacks. I have some courses down there if you need emotional foundations, if you struggle with cycle syncing and different things like that and getting things done because you're exhausted, you're probably overwhelmed and have a lot of high cortisol. I talk about those things in the Physics of Rhythm, which is another amazing course that supports you with cycle syncing, getting your energy together, and getting your hormones back in balance. Okay? All right, I'm not seeing any other questions. So I'm going to get off here because me and my sister supposed to go work out, but then I'm hungry, so I need to figure out my life. So I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing, well and wealthy Wednesday. Okay? Well and wealthy Wednesday. So I am so, so excited. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being present. And thank you for receiving. Okay? I really appreciate it. And yay, we got to 52,000. So I'm super, super excited. Yes, come on. Subscribe. Come on in. And hopefully I get to see you tomorrow in the Pattern Interruption Lab because it's going to be amazing. Or actually, if you come on in, I'll probably see you tonight because we're opening the Telegram up. And the Telegram is where as soon as you get a moment of activation, you're like, I'm activated. I'm immediately right there to respond to you with ease. And Sean can tell you that I'm quick with it. When you're in a void, and you'll learn what the void is, and you'll learn the airframe work, and you'll learn these things. When you get in that space and you need me, I'm where I need to be. All praise to the Most High. And that is what one of the greatest benefits of the Pattern Interruption Lab is. You hear me. Okay? All right, so let me get off here, y'all. Y'all so welcome. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure that if you go over there to my YouTube channel, and when I post this, which will probably be tonight in this playing, make sure that you send it to someone who needs it. Go ahead and drop your question, love. That's my last one, and I got to get out of here. What's your last one? And then also there are more explanations and things in the... my YouTube is the same as my name on here. Exact same one. And you can find me. Okay. I know some people who've done that for themselves. Now I will tell you this, I'm not super familiar with it in the sense of because I don't do it, I don't practice it. The most I go as far as somatic practices would be the depths of breath work, because most people would say things like breath work, or love is the highest form of vibration. I tend to believe breath is the highest form of vibration, because there is no love without breath. And love is an action word, it's not a feeling. It's a choice to operate in that energy daily. And in order to have that choice, one must have breath. So we do a lot of, I'm very serious about breath work. Okay. All right, y'all. I gotta go. I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing, amazing day. Lord willing, I will see y'all for Feminine Friday. If you are on my YouTube, if you're my YouTube paid subscriber, I hope you love that last video that I posted. I'm going to be posting something today for you guys from the archives. So I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing day. I have got to go. Peace, y'all.